Greetings, brothers and sisters. Got a lot of weird and funny stuff to get to. Alec Baldwin. A couple of videos I haven't covered. My Instagram was they thought I was a bot or something, and I had to like I was shut out, and there was the URL said something about challenge something, and I searched that, and it turned out that um, they wanted me to answer some questions to make sure I was a legitimate human boy, that I was a real boy, and not some kind of a bot. And so, like, I went on my phone. I never go on Instagram on my phone, but that's where you have to do it. And like earlier in the day, I looked at my phone's Instagram, and it was kind of like messed up, but it wasn't as bad as on my computer. On my computer in a browser, it was just Instagram didn't exist. But on my phone, it did, but I couldn't see videos. I couldn't, people were sending me links, and I couldn't see things. Like I could see the message, but I couldn't respond. And it asked me for my birthday. I'm like, why do you want to know my birthday? I mean, like I thought it was two separate things. Like I didn't know it was asking for my birthday, because it wanted to, was checking up on me. And I put my birthday in. It said, "So you're 57," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever, sure." Like I don't really remember my age. I know it's like around there, 56, 57, whatever. And then I thought about it. I'm like, wow, I'm really old, right? Like I'm only 3 years away from 60. Now longevity runs in my family. I was talking about this in my other YouTube channel, but then I talked about my wife. I'm and time's flying by. In 13 years, I'm 70, and I mean, at 70 something, 72, my brother was telling me the same story 3 different times in one conversation. And so that was kind of a wake-up call for me. But long story short, I'm back on Instagram. So let's go to this. I have a few follow-up things to get to. Bob Saget's in a weird rap video, the last thing he did before he died, like last sort of, acting, in air quotes, that he did. And then Alec Baldwin, and then Hilaria. Somebody sent me Hilaria had sort of another rant about how hard her life is as a famous person. And then I don't know, a few other things, something to do with Kim Kardashian and how like she's just as crazy as Kanye, right? Let's go through it. All of it I think is pretty funny. But let's start here. So there was somebody sent me, I talked about the Metaverse, and I watched a video on the Metaverse, and then someone left a funny comment saying the Metaverse is horrible because you're in a room, like there's these cyber rooms where, people can interact. And he said that everyone has their own, like, they can walk around playing some sort of theme song. And so it's usually bad rap. And you have all these different people in the room, and you hear multiple songs going on. So it's confusing. And then he went into a private area, and all he heard was this. And then one of my viewers sent me this. I guess it's from Finland or something like this. But everyone's playing it over and over again in the Metaverse.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
And so that's what people are hearing. It's the person said it's all over the place in the Metaverse. The Metaverse is like a complete crap fest. It's just just I don't know what to say. It's so funny. So I'm in the editing process, and what I was told by the person who sent it to me was that this was, some anti-perv thing coming from Finland, and like, how is this going to stop a pedo? Like, I mean, is it the rhyme, right? This is my private square. Please don't touch me there. That's gonna ward off some. I mean, this is what kids are supposed to say to pedos, or is it the dance? Is it is it some kind of magical dance that's gonna ward off some criminal pedo? Because otherwise, yeah, I think you're just setting your kids up for being targeted. So so another one of my viewers sent me this. This is the one, like, not funny part. It's a follow-up to what I was saying about economic sanctions.
I think you have to look at every possibility, which is what we do.
If he invades, what happens then? What's the immediate response from the U.S. and NATO?
The sanctions that we talked about, we're very serious about. And
They're serious about sanctions.
These are sanctions that will have effects that Mr. Putin has not realized before. The sad part about this, Martha, is that it may not affect Mr. Putin.
It's definitely not going to affect him, right? It's just going to make his slaves. I mean, that's what it is, right? This is various slave population, and wage slaves or whatever it is, right? But the people that don't matter to the wealthy and powerful, and they're going to suffer, and then they want to get rid of Putin or whoever it is. So there's going to be some residual effects, but it's going to cause children to starve. Like, it's a known fact, and they know it, that it's going to cause children to starve, right? If you do a military action, you can control sort of where you're, fighting. I mean, now you have all these people these like weaker military countries that fold into the populace, so you have to inflict civilian casualties. But the casualties, the civilians that die at your hands from American bombs, end up hating America. But if you starve children with economic sanctions, they hate their own leader, right? And so that's why America chooses to do it, but it's not more humane. It's just as evil.
To the degree that it's going to affect the average Russian. And, the decisions that he's making now will bring about a lot of pain and suffering on his comrades in Russia.
You're doing that, right? You're bringing about pain and suffering to average people in Russia. Like, don't, pretend that that's not the case, right? I want to get away from this because everything else is kind of funny. So let's go to the Bob Saget thing. So there's a rap video called, I guess this is Designer spelled in some weird way. And the name of the song is Bacon. They get Bob Saget involved. We don't need to hear this. The rap sucks. But Bob Saget gets involved. She does, I guess. What is she, a porn star or something? Is she an actress? A model with air quotes? She's, doing her stuff, and Bob Saget here is doing this. Look, the guy's rapping, and boom, here comes Bob Saget. And he's, I don't know, cooking and doing his funky little dance here. Look at it. Put the bacon on. Bob Saget's the chef cooking bacon with his porn star friend model, whatever it is there. A little bit more here. They're doing that. Here he goes. Look, there's Bob Saget. Look at him go. Look at Bob Saget do his rap thing. He's holding a stack of cash here. Enjoy it while you can, Bob. He says something here, maybe.
What's bacon? Oh.
And so that was what Bob Saget was reduced to. At the end of the video, I don't know if they say anything here. Rest in peace, Bob Saget. So apparently this was released after he died, but it was sort of his last great work of art that he put together. And speaking of which, one of my viewers sent me this. Candace Cameron Bure is in a Hallmark movie that's being released, I don't know, maybe today, I don't know. Where do you watch such things? A Hallmark channel or something? It's called Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, Haunted by Murder.
My mother's going to be at Enshaw House tomorrow. I can look around.
Boom. Haunted house.
Want to go back there? There's no way I'd ever go in that house again.
Candace Cameron Bure and Lexa Doig star.
Lexa Doig is in this? What's up with Lexa Doig? Where has she been all these years? Who is Lexa Doig? There's a scream there in the house.
That's my mother! That's my mother!
That's her mother!
With their real-life daughters.
Bro,
Their real-life daughters, get out. Don't go in there. Bob Saget's in there.
we have to go.
As teen Aurora and Sally.
This is Enshaw House. It's totally haunted.
It's not
It's totally haunted.
haunted. There's no such thing as...
Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, Haunted by Murder.
Haunted by murder. Here's another one.
We open on young Aurora, young Sally, young Arthur.
I must have tripped something. It looks like
You tripped a big giant door of sucked open in this masterpiece.
some secret passageway.
2 of these actors are actually played by our own daughters.
No way. Your own daughters are getting into this field of acting, being an actor in this wonderful high-budget film.
My night in Lawrenceton's infamous haunted house.
They revisit what I think is probably the origin story, if you will, of
There's more of these. There's more of Aurora Tea Garden.
Aurora Teagarden's curiosity for solving
Get out.
murders.
Not again.
Camera Scandon Burr is looking rough, and this even pre-Bob Saget dying.
Action, Candace?
Being part of this movie is so thrilling because I get to play the younger version of Aurora, which is played by my mother.
Her mom.
I'm very excited. It's a brand new opportunity.
It's Mia Shanks. That's Mia Shanks. She's teen Sally. She's the great-granddaughter of Albert Shanks, the guy who made a fortune in prison riot gear.
Brand new opportunity that I've never experienced before.
I think it's going to be really interesting for the audience to see Aurora.
I'm sure it's going to be fascinating. Your audience and their double-digit IQs are going to be, overwhelmed with curiosity.
And Sally as teenagers and when all of it started.
Aurora Tea Garden.
It all started haunted by murder, the Bob Saget story. So this is Hilaria's Instagram post. And she says, friends, if you see friends, she's talking to her friends here. I don't think she's talking to me. I don't think she considers me her friend. If you see an article posted about where we live, please peacefully write to the publication. What does peacefully write mean? And ask for decency. Do not do this to us or anyone else. It is cruel and unnecessarily dangerous. Yeah, and you shouldn't do that. I agree with Hilaria here. But they already know where you live. Your houses are public knowledge, right? Like you can, all these famous people's, it's already out there. But anyways, then she goes into saying stuff here. So this is up on Instagram, but I want to view it here. This person sent it to me on Reddit, and it's better to view it here because I can pause it. She did this in her Instagram stories, which, whatever. Just, now watch her use her wedding ring here. She's got this, monster rock here where, when you get any kind of a jewelry or anything you wear, and it's going to hinder things. It's going to bang into stuff. You put your hand in your pocket, it's going to catch on to something, whatever it might be, right? It's a hassle. And people are obsessed with these things, but really it doesn't do anything, right? And maybe it makes other people jealous. I mean, mostly it's negative, diamonds specifically. But she uses this, she always displays her rock. This is, it's like a big FU to all the losers out there that can't afford, groceries. They're watching Hilaria.
I'm going to tell you something about being famous, and maybe you have no interest because you're like, I'm so glad that I'm not you because it sounds awful to lose a lot of your privacy.
Okay, let's go back to that right there. Here it is. See right here, boom. So she's whining about being famous again, and she just flashes this rock all the time. It's not just this video. It's someone of my viewers pointed out. I didn't notice it myself, but ever since then, it's a character in her show, right?
It sounds awful to lose a lot of your privacy, but I'm going to tell you anyway, just in case you're interested.
You're just so whimsical and humorous.
And it's that I would say 9 times out of 10 when there's breaking news,
in air quotes,
it's so untrue that I don't even know about it. And I'm the last person to know. Now I live under a rock, and other
she lives under a rock in 2 different houses, one in the Hamptons.
Than here because it feels meaningful, connecting directly with you. The rest of the time, I just don't know. I'm not somebody. I Google my name. Please, last thing I would ever want to do.
Last thing she would ever want to do is Google her own name. And then, eat elephant feces. That's number 2. But the first thing is Googling her name. And then, a long list of other things.
But what I want you guys to hear is that, one of the
Boom, she's using it again as a, as a prop.
The most surprising things about entering this world has been like that so much of it is made up. And I would have thought that was like weird conspiracy theory, like that sounds like bonkers to me, because you were like, why would people do that? Well, they do it for money. They do it for attention. They do it because it's because
You're a liar, right? Who hijacked an ethnicity, and you're married to an actor. And, the thing is, when you become a celebrity, and she's done that, like she used her marriage to Alec Baldwin to build a brand and to make money off of Instagram. She monetized her celebrity. She sold books. She has a big whatever advertisement. She shills for things on Instagram, and she made money. And she, and more important for her, she became a celebrity, which she wanted. Like she could have married Alec Baldwin and just had a lot of kids and been a private person. Nobody would have known about her. But she faked an accent, and she created a brand. And when you enter that world of celebrity culture and you use the Hollywood Reporter, I mean, she was actually working for the Hollywood Reporter. Like they had her do interviews, and, they gave her a microphone and things. So she got involved as part of the paparazzi, and they're going to turn on you when they turn on you, right? Because, all you're going to get is fame. It could be positive fame or it could be infamy. And you have to accept both. But she constantly whines about it, right? She, married a rich and famous person and then became famous herself. And now she's crying about it all the time, right?
become competitive now between the publications. So I just wanted to know, I love you. Bye. Hi, it's me again. Feel free to exit at any time. But one last thing I want to say.
Feel free. Can we? We can exit at any time? Look at her. She got the ring again. She's added this girl is that Tootie? Like, what is he doing? She's added this little girl. Is that Tootie from Facts of Life? Or
over the years, people always tell me, well, you can't have it both ways. You can't connect with people here on social media and then ask for boundaries other places. And I believed that for a really
she's added this guy too. Mind blown.
long time. But then, wait, just take a minute and think, where's that rule? Like, who made that rule? Where is the rule? And when did I sign that rule?
She didn't sign it. You signed up for it as soon as you wanted to be famous. Didn't you see what happens to all their famous people? They build you up and they tear you down. Like, it's part of it. Like, it's part of the cycle. You want to, control your own brand, and you can't, right? And so you signed it when you faked a Spanish accent, even though you were from Boston, and then you opened up your own Instagram page, and you entered into the world of fame, right? People are mean-spirited, and they want drama, and they want all these things. I mean, come on. Everyone else knows. Everyone else gets it. Before she was famous, before she married Alec Baldwin, she was a yoga instructor. In terms of fame, she was a nobody, right? She was Hilaria, the girl who was faking a Spanish accent, and was a yoga instructor, right? And she made the choice because she could have married Alec, right? Because there's fame and fortune. Now, Alec was rich. She could have just had the fortune. You don't have to be famous to have wealth. You don't have to be famous to get the fortune. But she chose to have fame. She went for fame. And she deceived everybody. She pretended to have a Spanish accent. Even after she got caught, I mean, like everybody knows, she's still crazy enough to be still talking with that Spanish accent. Like, we don't know she's a white girl from Boston, right? Like, we all know. But she's like not giving it up. She's like, all right, I'm just going to pretend it never happened, right? And get up and whine about being attacked on Instagram. And I guess their followers are digging it because, they're still there.
Sorry, it's my kid's toy. I can't even be serious and have a conversation. But my point is that I want to be able to connect with people and have our fun time.
You want to monetize and make money off of them. They are your customers. They are not your friends. You're making money off of them, and you want to be famous. You want everyone to look at you, right? I mean, that's what Instagram is about. Instagram is the reason I call it Instagram. Everyone is on Instagram. Everyone look at me, right? Like, that's why people have it has filters to make you look better. And that's what, most people on Instagram, especially these Instagram models, they want to be seen. They want to be, they want people to watch what they're doing. reality TV stuff, right?
And then also speak like, you don't have to like cross really yucky boundaries and like trash people.
Are the boundaries yucky? What yucky boundaries have you put up there? Is this your yucky boundary?
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
Just because you're like, oh, hey, here's somebody that people pay attention to, so let's stomp on them. Like let's not do both of that. And trust me, you're all gonna.
You'll never get the answer to this. You're all gonna. It stops there. I went to have to go to a crappy Instagram page and rewatch this again just to find out that she got cut off. She cut herself off. Not like she was going to say something brilliant or something. All right, let's go to Alec. All right, speaking of stomping on people, there were 2 videos I didn't get to here from Alec B. Baldwin. They're always funny, so we did this one. So let's start here. So this is Hobo Alec when he was in England, when they arrested him for being a vagrant and being a hobo. And Hobo Alec is so much better than regular Alec.
Last day here in London.
Come on, buddy. You've got more work to do there.
Heading to the airport. Came into town.
Heading to the airport, leaving town. His last day there.
To the Langham, one of my favorite hotels in London. Came into town to meet my friends for lunch.
He has friends in England.
My friend Barnaby Thompson.
Barnaby. He has a friend named Barnaby. I have a friend named Barnaby.
And Pavo Yarvi, the great Pavo Yarvi. And
he's great. Parvo Yarvi is great.
Here I am, leaving to go home. I'm happy to go home. I'm happy to get back to my wife and my kids.
And your lawsuit and your, infamy.
But I must say, I'm sad because I love London. I love London. Did I mention that I love London?
Well, he's doing a little bit better here than before when he came home, and he lost it. But, he's still a little bit weird. Give a big hobo, give a big hobo smile. Okay, so here he is in another video. This one's a little longer. I haven't watched these before. I have no idea what. But he's filming himself in a mirror of some sort, some reflective device. He's something that reflects his reflection back into his camera.
I think I'm gonna do this in the mirror. This is weird.
It is weird.
Because I want to keep quiet.
He wants to keep quiet. Let's say we whisper, okay? Well, we don't want to wake anybody up.
People sleeping here.
People are sleeping. Let me take a deep breath and start whispering.
Quite a few of them. In honor of Valentine's Day, I wanted to say that, we all...
It's just so hard. My life is so bad. I'm just falling apart. Come on. Somebody make it stop. Please make it stop.
Try. We all give it our best attempt. Sometimes we do better than others, but I think the average person, when they meet somebody that they click with...
He clicks. I click with it. I click. I'm a clicker. I'm clicking all over the clicking place. Thank God I got back on Instagram. We would be missing out on this if I didn't get back on Instagram.
I don't know what words to use today, but if they click with them...
I'm a clicker. I click. Let's watch that old part again here. I want to use this as a meme, so.
Sometimes we do better than others, but I think the average person, when they meet somebody that they click with, I don't know what words to use today, but if they click with them.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
Then they have some enjoyment in life.
What? What are you talking about? This is Valentine's Day. This is about shooting somebody. What is this?
And but sometimes, of course, things change and people change and And I remember thinking I wasn't sure if I wanted to get married again. I'd been married before, had one child, my daughter Ireland. And I thought, oh,
He had one kid. You know, the one he called a pig.
I was lonely. I mean, I dated people. I dated some people for a while, and it didn't work out.
It didn't click. It wasn't any clicking. It was click. It was click free.
You know, in terms of me crossing that river and saying, oh, I want to get married again. And then I met Hilaria.
And she tricked the shit out of me. She just tricked me with her fake Spanish accent and all of it. There was too much clicking.
It's like that thing where you think to yourself, if that person is out there in the world and I don't have them, you know, I'm going to be miserable. And met somebody who was unlike anyone I'd ever met. We've certainly had our ups.
She was Spanish, and yet she grew up in Boston. There was no one else in the world that has that same experience. She grew up in Spain, in America.
And downs together and respectively, but my feelings for my wife are only deeper.
Only deeper. As deep as they can go. I'm a very shallow person, but as far as my depth goes, she's as far as it can go.
Deeper. Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm so lucky.
He's so lucky. He's so lucky. He's so lucky and happy and gay. He feels so lucky. Oh, lucky. So lucky today.
I found somebody who's just irreplaceable. Somebody I couldn't even imagine. And we've had a tough time with some things, but it's, especially lately. But
lately, you know, with her getting outed for, you know, appropriating a culture and me shooting a coworker, those are tough times. But before that was pretty fun, you know. I mean, I guess it was fun, right? Because we were clicky. We were very clicky.
My life would be so much worse if I didn't have Hilaria in my life. So happy Valentine's.
Yeah, keep on telling yourself that, bro. I think your life would be pretty awesome. I think Hilaria was your downfall.
Day to my wife and to everybody else who still has faith in that one-on-one thing with someone else, regardless of your denomination, you know, gays, LGBTQ, on and on.
Everything, every letter.
But I'm so lucky.
I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. Clicky, luck.
I'm so lucky.
I'm so lucky. I need to say it over and over again until I believe it.
I'm the luckiest person.
He looks like, this is the face of the luckiest person.
I hope you are lucky or you're going to get lucky. Wait.
What are you talking about, bro?
Wait. I don't mean get luck.
I confused myself. Oh, darn it.
Valentine's Day.
The face of the luckiest man in the world. So just a few more things. Kim Kardashian goes for a night swim in sexy bikini and leather gloves. So this is on page 6, right? They're putting this out there as newsworthy. And she went in her pool sometime at night with a professional photographer wearing weird-ass gloves. And they're saying Kanye's a crazy one. It's a night swim. She captioned her Instagram post, right? She put this on Instagram, and it called it Night Swim, misspelling night. And the gloves are the weird part, but it's also just like, why do this, right? Why would you, like this is some kind of contrived, everybody look at me, it's very typical Instagram behavior. She's not actually going for a swim. She, I'm just gonna go for a swim, and I'm gonna hire a photographer and wear some weird gloves. No, that's not what's happening here. This is just some fake thing, right? Like she found some bikini she wanted to wear. She hired a photographer, and they, are gonna photo brush and edit the photos, and then put it up in Instagram as some fake attention-seeking behavior. And it's insane, right? There she is giving the fingers with her glove. Because, I think this is maybe there. You can see the actual weird half gloves, metal gloves. Why would you even wear those in a pool? And this is something that's not normal behavior. But the difference between her and Kanye, the same difference between Trump and Jojo Magoo, is that Jojo Magoo and Kim follow the playbook. They follow the script. They do what they're supposed to do. Where Kanye and Trump hilariously go off the script. And it's so much more entertaining, right? And so, like this person's just as crazy as Kanye. I mean, if you ever watch that show, she's famous for a sex tape. And it's degraded humanity. That show and all the young women who watch it and have looked up to these dopes, these, fake silicon reptilian dopes. And, imitated them and let them bring down the level of consciousness and IQ and, all the rest of it, right? I mean, just this like fake, who are you giving the finger to, right? Is this to Kanye? Like, is it to the world? And your tongue sticking out, right? Like, it's like remedial, low vibrational, double-digit IQ lifestyle. And then there's this, Biden agreed in principle to meet with Putin if Russia does not invade Ukraine. Well, because he wants them to, because they desperately want this war. I'll cover this more. It's an ongoing thing. Okay, and just one more thing. I forgot about this. I want to get it off my toolbar. Warning, poster for Hulu Searchlight movie Fresh is as disgusting as the movie itself. First read, Fresh is starting March 4th on Hulu, a totally disgusting movie, just like the poster. Disney Searchlight brought it in as a gift for Hulu. Fresh has an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes, so other critics and bloggers obviously like it. They certainly aren't vegetarians. The premise of the movie is that Sebastian Stan plays a doctor who kidnaps women, vivisects them, eats pieces of them, and sells them off, and eventually kills them. It ain't the meat, it's the motion is not sung at this point. And so this is the poster here for Fresh on Hulu. Here's the official trailer on YouTube.
The women in our parents' generation,
they were more into femininity. You know what I mean? Because I think you would just look great in a dress.
You
but
guys
I mean,
okay?
if you were...
Pretty much done, actually, thank you.
If it's cool...
Boom, that guy's dripping his scarf, and he wants women to be more feminine. He wants them to wear dresses. He's a loser. Just got to kick him to the curb.
I'm just going to snag these leftovers.
I don't know how you do it, Molly. Do it. Dating people. No. You do not need a man, okay? So don't play the games. Just be you, straight out the gate.
Do you live around here? Because I live on aisle 6.
That's Sebastian Stan. He lives on aisle 6. What's the odds it would be 6?
Oh, it's terrible.
Was kind of terrible.
It was.
What's his Instagram? I want to stalk a little bit.
Doesn't have one.
Say what?
Yeah.
Oh no, see, that's shady.
Let's
It's shady if you don't have Instagram.
play a game. Tell me something you don't want me to know.
I hate this.
Okay.
Put all our hopes in finding happiness through someone else.
Yeah.
Girl, you all digmatized and I haven't even seen this dude.
What's going on?
I'm gonna tell you, but you're gonna freak out.
We'll stop there because we know what it is. He's a cannibal, right? We already know, so we don't have to watch any more of this depraved, crappy trailer. But what we learned from this trailer was that if there's a guy who's into women being a little bit more feminine and wearing dresses, and he's sort of a little bit anti-feminist, and he drops his, if his pretentious scarf falls into his food, and he takes the food home as leftovers, then that guy should be ghosted immediately. But a cannibal is a keeper, right? But the other lesson that we've learned is that if the guy doesn't have an Instagram account, it's shady and creepy, and he might end up being a cannibal. So stay away from guys who want you to wear dresses. Those guys are, to be ghosted. And if a guy doesn't have Instagram, he could be a cannibal. The horrors of the modern dating scene seen through one woman's defiant battle to survive her new boyfriend's unusual appetites. Disney, Hulu, ESPN, I don't know. So I guess Disney's locked into Hulu in some way and available for streaming. And so there's that. I mean, what are we doing here, right? Like, so just to give some perspective, I mean, this is just Monday here. And I made a video yesterday, a couple days ago, and sometimes things build up on my toolbar. Some days I wake up and there's all these stories and, when like Bob Saget died and, 18 people on, Instagram and Facebook are sending me links and comments and things. And then there's these stories that people expect me to cover. Then there's obscure stories that people send me or I find when I'm, doing my so-called research in air quotes on the internet. But I woke up today and there really wasn't much of anything, right? Like my Instagram got, reinstated last night. So I knew that Alec Baldwin had a couple of, videos I hadn't looked at. And there was somebody sent me this thing about Joy Behar and, her being a hypocrite. I think that's how it is. Maybe I don't know. I can't remember, right? And so I knew I was going to cover that on my other channel. I covered that. And then I thought it'd be sort of a light day. Then somebody sent me the thing on Hilaria. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do the thing on Alec. And then I had this cannibal thing sitting up on my toolbar. There's stories like that. Sometimes I never cover. They just sit up there. And after a while, I'm like, the Kim Kardashian thing was a throw-in, right? I wasn't going to, make a whole video, but that's something I'll throw in, in a bigger video. But you think about all this stuff, how, depraved it is. And I do this every day. Like, it's just, like people say, this isn't the apocalypse, right? Like, just look at what's going on. Our society's melting down, and we're getting further and further away from, certainly God, but what it is to be a natural human being. And this is why I always say that there needs to be a deepening of our connection, like more so than it was before. Like whatever relationship people had with God before things started to melt down to where they are now. I mean, my whole life growing up, it wasn't enough. People weren't connected to God internally, didn't know that God exists inside of them. They had religion and morals and things like this. And, they were decent people like Joe Biden said about himself. But there wasn't this, deep internal connection. And that's that's the next step, right? There needs to be something more than what we had before. Because right now, like, it's just a complete shit show. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano definitely reporting from the apocalypse and the ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.